Would you like a complete underground base, really easy to make and has got everything you could ever possibly need, works in Minecraft 1.16.2 and it's got a world download? Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night. Welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my Minecraft bases tutorial series. I'm going to show you an amazing underground base, really easy to make. Doesn't take that much in the way of resources, even though it's quite a big base. It's got storage, it's got all the workstations, it's got nether, it has got mining, it's got crops, it's got sleeping, it's got a really decorative outside. I think you're going to love it. We're going to make it together, then we're going to tour it, and then I'm going to give you a world download. It's for Java. I hope you enjoy it. Let's crack on. This underground base has got quite a big footprint. Each of these two circles has got a 23 diameter, including the yellow, and the strip of blue in the middle is 7 wide. Step 1 is pretty easy, but it might take you a little bit of time. Grab yourself a shovel and start digging 7 deep across this entire template. Now we're at the bottom of the hole. Now what do? Well, let's put in a floor. We're going to put wood planks all over the floor except these areas that I've marked out in white. 1 5x1 stripe all the way along the far edge of one side and 3 5x5 squares that I've marked out in the other circle. Now don't change these to wool, just leave them as dirt. So those wood planks are in, but they're a little bit flat, aren't they? So we're going to variegate it up with a little bit of stripped wood as well. Really simple, just randomly popping in these stripped oak blocks. Because I've got oak planks, I'm using oak blocks. If you use spruce, you could use spruce blocks. It's entirely up to you. Just make it look like it's just a little bit more patterned. So you should end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Now we've done the floor, we need to put in the walls, and it's completely up to you which block you use. I've decided that for the circle areas I'm going to be using oak, not the stripped version, just the standard version, and that'll become clear why in just a moment. But in the corridor in between I'm going to use some stone brick, so let's get that done. We're placing those oak logs all the way up to 1 below surface level. That's because we want them to all be facing in the same direction. We'll put the top one in downwards from the top when we go up there. I've also placed stone brick at the end wall where that 5x1 stripe of dirt is. All the walls are in there and we're going to make our entrance from the outside to come to the middle of this wall, which is that fella there on both sides, and pop those out. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an exit that goes up from this direction. I'm just going to dig these all out like this, and I'm going to come out 2 wide on either side of this door, and we're going to keep those walls like that. And then we're going to dig forwards 2 blocks like that, and then we're going to come up 1 further block and dig a step motion this 5 wide all the way up to the top of the surface. Once you've finished stepping up, you should find you are 9 blocks from the edge. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. These steps should be from the top stepping down 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 with a gap of 2 at the bottom. We now need to start to decorate this up just a little bit so as it looks real. Bring yourself some support beams all the way along from the top there and right across using oak. You can use spruce if you wish. I quite like the way oak looks. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up all the way around with different oak pillars. So it should look like that at the end, and we might variegate up these walls a little bit. Bring out 1 2 3 with these spruce wood planks. We've used spruce wood stairs, so we're matching it with the planks. Put an oak log there and an oak log there, and then we're just going to fill that up with fence gates, which gives you some level of protection from things just wandering down your stairs. Now mirror that on the other side, and it should end up looking just like that. We can now finish off these walls by adding the correctly oriented logs all the way around. Where you've got stone, use stone on the ground level and then a log on top. So now it will look like that. Now we can come back in the base and we can start to grow it from the ground up. Put in a couple of spruce doors. In the circle with the stone brick wall, bring yourself in a mine entrance with a decent wide opening that gets smaller as you dig down. Create a workstation area on the opposite wall to the mine, and you can see we've got a furnace array here where the furnaces surround some blast furnaces and also some smokers, and then all the other usable workstations. They're here with the loom, the cartography table, the smithing table, the stone cutter, and obviously the grindstone. We've embedded our crafting table in the floor just to keep it out of the way. In the very centre of this circle, we've made an enchanting setup, enchanting table right in the middle. We've embedded some barrels in the floor for storage of lapis and magic books and things like that. A couple of anvils, and we've got 16 bookcases, 4 in each corner lapping around, and then we've placed trapdoors just hiding up the bookshelves on the outside so it looks a little nicer. We've put a large nether portal in that stone wall area there, and we've nodded towards the nether, giving some chains and some soul lanterns on the side for a little bit of decoration just to get us started. I've used these stone brick walls here because these gates, when suspended between stone brick walls like that, give that offset feel, and I just like the look of it a bit more. What we're going to do now is put in a mezzanine level around the outside, but we're going to keep the inner bit open. So over the top of this enchanting area, for example, that is not going to be covered, but we are going to cover up here, and we're going to use a lower slab to make sure this bit isn't spawnable. This also means that these chests can still open even though we've got something over the top of them. Let's crack on with that. Before we do anything more, we're just going to trim around these dirt blocks here like this with an extra layer so they're not proud and they don't look, well, a little bit ugly if they're sticking up like that, right? So we're going to come all the way around with all 3 of them, and then once I've done all 3 of them, I'm going to come down here and we're going to run a dirt block over this height on this level. We're going to keep that centre bit out, and we're just going to run it over like that, and then we're going to be placing blocks, a double block on each side like this, again just to cover up the dirt because it looks pretty ugly. We're going to do this on all 3 of them, and then a single block just to trim it around, and it makes it look a lot more accessible. And then once we've done that on all 3 sides, we're going to come up to the top and we're going to get a bucket of water, and that bucket of water is going to go into this middle block here like that, and that will run down into the hole there as well, and that means that we get to hoe both levels with the single bucket of water that is going to irrigate both of those levels exactly like that. See, that's hoed nicely, and then this one up here is going to hoe nicely as well, and I'm going to do that on all 3 of them. All 3 of those are now done, and we're just going to come into these corners, and I'm going to do this. We've put water underneath the level of these blocks here. And then we're going to come under and replace those blocks like that, so that water is now hidden. However, it's not hidden if we wanted to plant some sugarcane on them. So I'm going to put sugarcane on all of those, and that will grow up 1, 2, 3 levels, and that is perfect. So then I'm going to replace these blocks here. I'm just going to put a couple of randoms in there just to keep it looking nice. I'm going to do that in all 4 of those corners. That's all the sugarcane in each corner, and we've placed in a bit of a lantern just to give it sufficient light so it is non-spawnable. We're then going to come to the center, which if you line up your water columns, you'll see is right there, and we're going to replace a bit of a row like that with some dirt, and we're going to do this all the way around like this, so as we've got the same size 5 by 5 square as we've got over there. I'm going to knock out that middle one, and we're going to put in a bucket of water. This is going to be where we're going to grow some melons and pumpkins. Place a temporary block next to the water and then put some kind of light source block. I'm using a sea lantern, but you could use glowstone or even a shroom light, and then tower this up 6 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That gives a really nice light column that goes all the way up to the ceiling, and then hoe this out and plant yourself up some pumpkins and melons however you like. Then plant your 3 farms on both levels with, I don't know, maybe wheat, potatoes and carrots. They seem like the logical ones to use. We're nearly done on this side. I've added in a row of sweet berries, 7 on each side, starting from that point in the stairs, and that gives us 14 sweet berries that we can harvest literally as we go past. That's the farming side of the farm completed. We now need to turn our attention onto the living and working side. This bit shouldn't really take too much. What we need is loads of storage and somewhere to sleep. We've added a little bit of extra height onto the platform, and we've brought this mezzanine out ever so slightly to give it a 2 wide gap. Then we put some armour stands in, a triple bed, why not? We might as well, this is a nice base. Some paintings, some light and the ender chest, and I think that is a decent place to stop. Storage is going to be around the other side on that mezzanine, and we're going to make it pretty simple. We're going to use barrels instead of chests, and we're going to implant the barrels into the walls like this, and as a result it doesn't really get in the way at all, and you can put as many in as you like. You can even pop them in behind the lights like that. That really couldn't be any more simple. Lots of barrels embedded into the walls. We put some barrels in the floor as well with a lamp on, and you can access them from underneath as well, which is nice. And then we put some legs. We'll put some legs on the other side as well. All that's really left now to do is to decorate the interior and then put a lid on it. Before we get really decorated, we're going to come into the corner just next to where we've got this workstation, and we're going to place water there and water there. That'll create an infinite water source right there, and then we're going to just pop that step like that and that step upside down like that. Take out that base and place it in some oak planks, and just take out there and place in oak planks as well. That gives us a water source that we can just keep taking water from, and it will never run out. We can then place a brewing stand on a shelf, which is just a slab the same as the floor, and then 2 barrels on each side at slightly different angles so as it looks a little bit nicer. You can still get your water, and you can store your empty bottles and all your brewing potion stuff there. Perfect. The inside and the decoration is now done. We do still have to put the roof on, and we're going to do it in glass. The roof is in. We've just got some final details to put around the outside and maybe a little bit more on the inside, and then we'll have a look around. The base is now complete, and we've got everything we could possibly need: food, nether portal, a mine, somewhere to sleep, plenty of storage, and lots of space to expand. The outside is made decorated as well. We used campfires just to give a bit of a lid over those 2 descending stair areas. It gives a little bit of extra detail, as well as adding in some water, some trees and lots of different flowers. I think it's a really great place for someone to live. Really quite pleased with the way this one came out. It's got everything you could possibly need in the base, from nether portals to mines to nice gardens and all the crops you could ever eat. Don't forget, there is a world download in the description below, completely free. Go and download the world. It is made in Java 1.16.1, so as we've got some nice effects, because 1.16.2 hasn't quite given me Optifine yet. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club. I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.